It's clear that both the US and Iran want this war to end, but can diplomacy work when neither side is acting in good faith? Yes, because it has to. Let's break it down. After a month of war, the US and Iran have reached a ceasefire, but it's not a ceasefire for everybody. The Israelis are still attacking the Lebanese, and the Iranians are still controlling traffic out of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump is going into these negotiations on his back foot because the war remains unpopular at home and he's underestimated the Iranians at every turn. And that's made him more eager to concede things that he normally wouldn't, including saying that the Iranian 10-point plan is a good starting point for negotiations. From the Iranian perspective, they've taken significant losses and depleted their stock of missiles and drones, but they come out of this with one big weapon they didn't have before, which is control over the Strait of Hormuz. So with that as a state of play, diplomacy seems impossible. The Iranians are being asked to give up the two weapons that they have, their nuclear program and their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz, and in Washington, Trump's not doing himself any favors. He comes at this from a very transactional point of view, lacking any long-term strategy, and changing his mind from week to week and from moment to moment. How do you negotiate with somebody who's like that? And while diplomacy seems impossible, it's also inevitable because there's no military solution to this war. The US can't really escalate any further unless it starts attacking civilian infrastructure in Iran or committing ground troops, two things that will be very unpopular inside the United States, leaving diplomacy as the only option. And while Iran seems to have time on its side, they're also extremely weakened with their economy in shambles and their top leadership dead, and eager to move on to a new status quo where they can either exercise power over the strait or get sanctions relief from the US. So here's what a deal might look like. If the world is not willing to accept the Iranians charging a toll for access through the Strait of Hormuz, you could see both sides winning by lightening up on the sanctions from the US side in exchange for concessions on the nuclear program from the Iranian side, allowing both sides to declare a victory. One thing I'll be watching is the negotiations in Islamabad this weekend and what Vice President J.D. Vance brings to the table and what he comes out of there saying. Is sanction relief on the table? And how close are they to containing the Iranian nuclear program, not through force? So diplomacy isn't dead because as long as the US isn't willing to commit ground troops, it's all they have.